For Cannabis Book Week, the first great piece of drug writing in American history. I'm Lex Pelger. I do canna education for CV Sciences, the makers of Plus CBD, who has excellent CBD and THC products. The writer was Fitzhugh Ludlow. The book was The Hasheesh Eater. This is the annotated edition from 2003 if you really want to get into it. But in the 1850s, Fitzhugh Ludlow was living in the Northeast. He was a young man, and in the pharmacies of the time, there was cannabis extracts in all of them. Thanks to the work of Dr. William O'Shaughnessy in India, cannabis spread into the pharmacies of England and France and the United States. And Fitzhugh Ludlow, was working as a pharmacist assistant when their first bottles of cannabis came in. And since he had already drank every other interesting psychoactive that this pharmacist had, including opium, he decided, after he did all of his reading, that he was going to drink the cannabis extract. And his first experiences were fantastic, out of this world. Because remember, when you drink or eat cannabis, it tends to be 5 to 7 times more psychoactive. And he was taking a lot of it to make sure it worked. And so he had all of the classic things of being at a friend's house and it coming on and him having to feel normal while playing with the children and all of that. And then the walk home taking a million years and him seeing a demon along the way. And he starts getting really into cannabis. And he continues taking it into college. And remember, there was no psychological preparation of what hashish was supposed to feel like then. Just like in the very early 60s, people didn't know what psychedelics were. There were no cultural expectations for it. He didn't really know what he was getting into. So he described it when no one else had, not even the Hasheesh Club of France. And so he had these beautiful descriptions of what really psychedelic levels of cannabis could be. But as he writes in his book that came out in 1858, he eventually got addicted to it in a very strong and real way. And we talk often about how you can be addicted to cannabis here. And so he was a great thinker for describing what these experiences were like, but also what addiction was like and the double-edged sword of what cannabis could be. And so both sides throughout the 100+ years have used his writings to talk for and against the use of cannabis. And as he got older and there started to be an opiate problem after the U.S. Civil War, because all the painkillers that were being used, he started to try to use cannabis and whatever other tools he had to be a citizen scientist to try to help with the opiate problem. He had a short, tragic life, but he wrote one of the most important books ever about cannabis, and there's also a companion by David Gross if you want to learn more about this. So in my graphic novel series, the first 7 chapters are devoted to the story of Fitzhugh Ludlow because he explained cannabis to the American populace before anyone else did. Oh, and this is free online. It's nice to have these companion books, but there are free copies all over the internet. So you can just start reading this right now and see some of the best descriptions of cannabis intoxication that I've ever read in my life.